Huss, you said it well. You're a wordsmith, and Carey Price is an icon. Great wording there, and a great person. It's interesting what you mentioned about the Olympics. If he isn't able to go, and who knows, you would hope that the problems will be behind him by then. I guess it would be Carter Hart's time to shine, because I think he is Canada's future in goal. But right now, it's a big drop-off from Carey Price to Carter Hart. Moving on, ho-hum.
I mean, wait a second. We're giving Carter Hart the number 2 spot on Team Canada? I mean, to be honest, right now, considering the season he had last year, he's going to be lucky to make the team. I mean, you got Marc-Andre Fleury won the Vezina Trophy. Carey Price had a solid season, and he's Carey Price. To me, there's those two guys, and then there's just a bunch of question marks. I mean, who has a lot of confidence in Carter Hart after the season he had last year? I asked Philly fans about that, Rod. And Jordan Binnington? I'm not really that in on Jordan Binnington. And hell, Mackenzie Blackwood, we thought he would be in. Well, he's not even able to go because he's not vaxxed right now. So, listen, the goaltending position already was a little bit of a concern. I think if you looked at Team Canada overall, this news today, again, first things first, we're thinking about the person. But Canada needs Carey Price at the Olympics right now because, I mean, beyond Marc-Andre Fleury and Carey Price, there are massive question marks. And that's the one place where Canada, when you compare them to a number of the other countries in the world, is actually at a deficit. You can't say that about pretty much every other position on the team.
Okay, now I got to go to the big board. Listen, you know hockey's my number one sport, and I was a goaltender, so I think I know what I'm talking about there. I don't even think the Flower was on the Sochi team, was he? It was Price. Mike Smith was the third. Flower hasn't really represented Canada internationally since, I think, the World Juniors in 2003 in a significant fashion. And I'm a Flower fan. I'll make you a bet today, Huss, that Carter Hart starts in the Olympics if Carey Price does not. That's just my thinking.
Okay, I'm in on it. Whatever the wager is, Rod, let's do it. As I said, Fleury versus Hart. Fleury, he won the Vezina Trophy last year. He's going to have... Now, I will make this caveat that if Carter Hart all of a sudden tears it up, he could be on the team and he'll be an option. I think that's the best case scenario for Canada. But my God, he had one of the worst seasons for a starting goaltender in the National Hockey League last year. So there's a lot of work to do before Carter Hart actually earns a spot on the team. Never mind jumps the guy that won the Vezina Trophy last year for a spot in net, in my opinion.
Oh my God, Huss, this is why you and I would... Hey, this is how you and I would be great together. Listen, if Marc-Andre Fleury's not good enough for Canada's team, the Vegas Golden Knights, he's not good enough for me and Team Canada. And I've also seen Carter Hart at his best. So he had one bad year. So what? Other goalies have had bad years. Carey Price has had bad years in his career. So what? Carter Hart has represented Canada internationally at the World Juniors. I've seen him at his best. His problems are here, not skill-wise. But what did you think about Hustler and my discussion on the crease for Canada moving forward past Carey Price, who's in the news today?
You're both right. You're both right. And I hope that we can keep this discussion and sandwich both these clips together, to throw on YouTube and get some discussion going, because I think you're both right. I think, Hustler's a little guilty of recency bias, because I would say it should be Marc-Andre Fleury over Carey Price. I think Marc-Andre Fleury today is the best goaltender born in Canada to win you a game today. I'd put Marc-Andre Fleury against anybody. He's a reigning Vezina, champion. Again, we don't know how he's going to play in Chicago. And yeah, Carter Hart, Jordan Binnington, these guys are coming off really bad seasons, and we're not sure about Carter Hart. But if in the hockey system in this country, and Hockey Canada too, we're guilty of locking in on a guy and he's the guy, right? And even if he struggles, but he's the guy we're grooming, so you keep grooming him and pushing him through. I feel like that's where we are with Carter Hart. And so I think you're right, because Hockey Canada's invested in Carter Hart. They've kind of penciled him in as being the guy, the next guy, that I don't think they're worried about what happened last season. I still think they see the potential in Carter Hart. I still think they think he's going to come back and play well, and he's still their guy. Now, if he comes out and has a really bad start to the season, then he's not going to be the option to play in Beijing. I get that. But I think today, Hockey Canada is still hoping that Carter Hart is the next guy if Carey Price can't play.
Well, I don't think it's just because of politics that Carter Hart is the future in goal for Team Canada. I know what you're saying, but I just think he's the best goalie. And again, We all know why the Flower's not in Las Vegas anymore. He hasn't really represented Canada. As I sit and go back, 2014 Sochi, it must have been Carey Price, Marc-Andre Fleury, Mike Smith, unless you can remember who the number 2 goalie was. Carey Price played all the games.
Yeah.
But Fleury's never really been Canada's guy. Why would he be now at the age of 36?
For whatever reason, management, coaches, they need to have somebody that they're confident in. And if they're not confident that Marc-Andre Fleury is their guy, no matter how good he plays, he's not going to be their guy. And I don't know what this group is thinking about the goaltending situation, but I know that, we're really excited about Carter Hart, and we're hoping last year was just a one-off. Don't read into it. He's still elite. He's still the next guy. So if he has a good start to the season, he'll be the starting goaltender if Carey Price can't go.
This is amazing. Just the back and forth. Yeah, I'm on the beach in Pompano Beach, Florida, talking hockey. There is nothing better. Jennifer from the Four Seasons writes in and says, the ice blocked so many shots last night. That's what saved them. Whatever. We're going to coin a phrase here tonight. Complimentary hockey. You've heard complimentary football. Complimentary. Well, so they block shots. That's why. Well, so what? And by the way, Ryan McCarthy in Saratoga, New York, is watching. He says, Carey Price, Mike Smith, and Roberto Luongo were Canada's goalies in 2014, which you pointed out. Why are we not talking about Mike Smith? He's the starting goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers. It's going to be Carter Hart. Pinks, from Pinks. One of our P1s, the biggest Philly Flyers fan in the cesspool that is our comment group. He says Philly, in the end, simply had a bad defense last year. It was addressed in the offseason. They will be better. And Kata's head and confidence will only get better this year. No. I respectfully disagree. Oh, it's just our defense sucked. That's all. That's why we missed the playoffs. No big deal. We'll just sign these guys and we'll be good. What did they get? The defenseman down here, is it Skinner? Keith Yandel. They got Keith Yandel, the guy that they wanted a healthy scratch here in Florida. He's going to save the Philadelphia Flyers. Which, incidentally, the NHL comes out with their Super 16 today. And listen, the Blues swept, as I said. I don't even have them making the playoffs, Moose, in the Central Division. One of Pittsburgh or Philly's going to make the playoff. One of them, not both. Look at the division that they're in. But I guess we can't sit here and make these generalities. Well, that's what's fun about what we do, right, Moose? That's what's fun about it.
Yeah, of course we can. We can make any generalities we want. St. Louis is tough because you go back, we all want to think about that Stanley Cup team, right? But Alex Pietrangelo, not there. Jaden Schwartz, not there. Vladimir Tarasenko, he was exposed in the expansion draft, and he's a shell of the player that he was, right? Jordan Binnington is not Vezina Trophy goaltender last season. He's not Team Canada caliber goaltender last year. Now maybe he can get back to it. These players all have the potential. But this isn't the St. Louis Blues that won the Stanley Cup. Now, can they get back there? I hope so. There's a lot of talented players there. But the signs aren't pointing that way. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in St. Louis.
From David MD watching on YouTube says, one player doesn't make a team. If it does, then your team is in trouble. Looking at you, Oilers. McDavid cannot do everything. And from the Puck and Pigskin podcast says, because Mike Smith is like 40, LOL. Granted, he had a great last season, but last season was a very different season. I hope that we can edit together all the clips of the discussion between yourself and I, and then Hustler regarding the goaltending, where we pointed out that Marc-Andre Fleury wasn't even on Team Canada the last time we had NHL players at the Olympics. Why are we even talking about this now? It makes no sense. And the fact that Mike Smith's old, that's the Oilers' fault.
Yeah.
And nobody else's.
But if Marc-Andre Fleury has a great start to the year in Chicago, like if we were talking, in the spring, who would you want? I'd want Marc-Andre Fleury starting for Team Canada. I would. If he has a good start to the year and Carey Price can't go, then maybe Marc-Andre Fleury finds his way on this roster and they like him and he's a chance to put lightning in a bottle and squeeze out the last bit of juice of his career and lead us to a gold medal. But if not, it gets pretty thin, and Carter Hart's got the most potential. He's the next guy for the next decade or longer in goal for Canada.
Goalies get better the older they get. By the way, that's a fact. Look it up.
So do defensemen, too.
Carter Hart will have a good... Yeah, well, Carter Hart will have a good year this year. He'll have it figured out. Again, it's all here with him. He has the physical skill. Most guys don't have the physical skill, and it doesn't matter what's going on between their ears. In the case of Carter Hart, he's got the physical skill. He gets the mental side figured out, which we've seen. Listen, I know how Hockey Canada works. Been around him for decades. He's going to be the guy. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of The Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.